Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Stonkcast, the market show for the average Joe. Whether you're a diamond-handed degenerate scouring the market for the next call or put going up 500% or more, or, maybe a more conservative swing trader or investor, we are here to provide the latest market news and give our 2 cents. I am your co-host, Brandon Shar, along with Ethan Harris.
Hello, I'm the other co-host.
How's it going?
Going good. I've got. I'm noticing I've got little specks of paint on me. I was just
Have you been
helping
painting?
my wife paint, and specifically, I was just like standing and waiting for her to need me.
Wow, what a good husband. What a good husband.
Yeah.
It is Thursday, February 20th, 2025. Before we jump into it, just a friendly reminder, wherever you're watching us, YouTube, like and subscribe, iTunes, Spotify, please follow, leave a comment. Definitely helps the show and gets us in front of more degenerates, more investors,
And if you don't like us, you can dislike it, but comment why you're disliking. Was
That's
it my
fair.
voice? Was it my face? Was it Shar's face? Shar's voice? Was it what we
Yeah,
talked about?
we
What
can
was
take
it?
it.
Yeah,
We can
we can
take it.
take it.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be one of the many bots that comment and give us your seed phrase in the comment itself, thank you for the engagement metrics because those are counting towards our engagement.
We'll take
And
it.
this is unscripted, but what I've been doing and including in those comments is I reply back and a reply talking about why it's a scam. So it's hopefully if anybody ever sees it, that they won't actually like follow through with it or whatever. But I've seen it on a couple other stock related channels. So it's not just us; it's anybody that mentions crypto. It seems they get hit with a comment that has a seed phrase in it. And what that scam artist is trying to do is they're trying to make you feel like it's normal to include your seed phrase, and it's not because that seed phrase is what allows somebody to be able to import or export their wallet. So
Yeah, this is what
don't
you get
fall into it.
with a market that is not quite regulated yet.
Yeah.
So that's a good piece of info there.
Yeah.
All right. What
But
we got tonight?
we got some fun stuff. You've got some stuff going on.
Yep. So we're gonna get into some EV industry news. We got some hot topic issues in the EV space tonight that we're going to cover a little bit later, as well as some news on on Walmart.
Too soon.
Yeah, too soon. That's coming. That was a little teaser. Yeah, we're going to cover some. Yeah, we might get into Walmart. Walmart had earnings this morning, and then Ethan, what do you got for the people out there?
We'll go over some GameStop stuff, what they've got going on this week. It's not really too much going on as far as like the GameStop conspiracies, but we do have some action with GameStop corporate itself, and then I've got a example of how you can use ChatGPT in order to do some trading analysis and trying to discover some entry points and stop loss ideas and whatnot, specifically for NVIDIA. So that's what
Sounds
my
great.
game plan is for today. Yeah.
All right, awesome. You want to kick it off?
Yeah. As far as GameStop is concerned, they are getting rid of their Canadian, what do you call it, branch. It's not EB Games. GameStop Canada is up for sale. And what happened this week is that Ryan Cohen made a post where he was on X or Twitter, where he basically said that he was offering up GameStop for anyone who enjoys woke policies, and he was just going off on this like political bant. Um, and so, February 18th, 2 days ago, GameStop announced plans to sell its operations in Canada and France as part of its evaluation of its international assets. The decision affects over 500 stores. It's 203 in Canada, 314 in France. I thought that was very interesting that France had more than Canada. So marking a significant shift in GameStop's global presence. In a tweet, CEO Ryan Cohen invited interested parties to contact the company regarding the purchase of these divisions, adding a controversial quip about including high taxes, liberalism, socialism, progressivism, wokeness, and DEI at no extra cost.
Wow.
When I got onto the subreddit and I was reading through all the comments on Reddit, everyone has turned against Ryan Cohen over the past couple of months because he's got so many like positive Trump tweets and things like that. So the sentiment kind of changed very drastically over the past year to where they were saying he's our guy, he's our billionaire, he's a billionaire for the people, he's going to make us all rich. But then he started to like Trump. And so now they're like, oh, we got to eat the rich. But billionaires suck. You can't become a billionaire unless you're a sociopath. And so it's just very interesting watching the like in the temperature change in the subreddit and whatnot. So the people of Reddit, their opinion of things change with the wind, and
So
most of the time they
now they want to short it.
yeah. Well, everyone's
Oh,
sentiment is like, we hate Ryan, but we still want to get rich off of
still want to get
GameStop.
rid. You suck,
Yeah,
but make us some money.
yeah, pretty much. But this move continues GameStop's trend of reducing its international footprint following previous exits from the United Kingdom, Ireland, and several other European countries. So it's kind of sparked a lot of discussion, like what's going on? Why are they a dying company? And they're not a dying company because they've got something like 4 billion in cash on hand right
Cold
now.
hard cash.
Yeah, cold hard cash. It's either three or four, but they've got billions in cash. And then they made several on the market offerings and accumulated more cash. And so they got some dosh, they got some dough, and they got haters, lots of haters.
Yeah, well, there's an old saying: if you don't have haters, or if you have haters, you must be doing something right. So, um,
Yeah, my
what?
biggest problem with what they got rid of though was Game Informer. I was a
Yeah,
very avid. I have the magazines here in my office, but I would receive a physical magazine, and there was just something about the tangential nature. Tangential. That's not the word I'm looking for. The tactile nature of having a magazine in hand
it's
that just
nostalgic.
brought me. Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever done a comparison? I just thought of this. Have you ever done a comparison of like the cash reserves that GameStop
Mm,
has compared to some of the other quote unquote respected, stocks?
let's do it
Um,
right
I don't even know where I would go to look that up. I mean, I guess it would just be on their balance sheets, right? But
now.
I'd be curious to see like GameStop compared to uh, what's something similar to them that's like
Berkshire
respected.
Hathaway has 325 billion on hand.
Okay, well that's like the
This is in
granddaddy of them.
Trading View. U.S. companies with the most cash on hand. Amazon has 104,
Okay,
Alphabet 95, Charles Schwab 80. So it's not even in the top 10. It looks like, and
okay.
I know that's like something that a lot of the stonk people like to like bandy about, and to make them like very proud of this the company, which is fine, but yeah, they
Well,
don't even break the top 100.
well, it seems like it would be industry specific, right? Because
Yeah,
having a lot of cash, well, I guess having a lot of cash in general is a good thing, but certain industries are going to have more cash on hand than others, I would
yeah,
imagine.
Mm-hmm.
but it's still an impressive number to me. They're definitely not, you know, in the same position as some other companies we will be talking about later on. But 4 billion in cash, that's a great spot to be in. So yeah, I think the move to it seems like he's trying to consolidate things to the
Yeah.
U.S. by shutting down some of these other branches, brick and mortars, like you said, the UK, Canada. I'm very curious to see what he plans to do with that. And you mentioned on our last episode the investment into, Bitcoin, crypto in general. Like, where is all this headed? Like, what is
Right.
the? It seems like it's the one card that Ryan's holding, and like he just hasn't put on the table yet to reveal. But I feel like he's got something good coming. Something he's cooking up.
He's cooking something.
He's
Yeah.
cooking something.
Some people think that he's just cooking an exit plan, but I mean, he over hauled Chewy, so I don't see he has a history of
How long has
doing
he
good
been
things.
with GameStop? Do you know?
I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I would buy into the exit plan thing.
Do,
He's
do,
putting a lot of
do.
work in for that.
He was chairman of the board in June of 21, and then CEO September of 23. So he
Interesting.
hasn't actually been CEO for very long.
Yeah.
Um, but he has, since he's been chairman and subsequently CEO, the company has done like a full 180. I mean,
Yes.
it went from a company that, regardless of how you cut it, if you believe that it's like overhyped or not, it was a company that everybody was like waiting for it to die.
Yes.
Uh,
Like
yeah,
Toys R Us.
yeah. Oh, I miss Toys R Us.
Yeah. You and me both.
Yeah,
All right.
but that's GameStop.
GameStop news. We'll keep tabs on
You want me to
that.
do my next segment, or you want to jump into yours?
Uh, you know, after that feels like an appropriate transition, so I'll go ahead and go and dive in here. So we just got done talking about companies with a lot of money. Let's go to a company with not a lot of money. So, we're going to talk a little EV action here. It's been a hot topic for the past couple of years. And, if you were to go to a certain website right now, Nikola, and you're like, hey, I want to buy an EV car. This is not what you want to see on their website. Nikola Initiative's comprehensive voluntary Chapter 11 sale process. What? I just wanted to buy an EV car. What's happening, Nikola? Oh, well, they declared bankruptcy. Just the other day actually. So, surprise, surprise. And according to CNBC, embattled EV maker Nikola files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Nikola filed for bankruptcy protection after failing to secure a buyer or raise additional funds to maintain operations. So, not only were they short on cash, not only were they, just not having a good day, but they couldn't even find a buyer. They were actively
Yeah,
looking for someone to buy the company. They couldn't find it. They couldn't raise additional funds, which means they probably couldn't secure any kind of loans. Just an all around bad situation. The filing marks the finale of the company's year long fall from grace. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Nikola's core products are all electric and fuel cell electric semi trucks. At its peak in 2020, Nikola was valued more than Ford Motor at $30 billion, dollars, inked a multi billion-dollar deal with General Motors, and was considered the pinnacle of auto startups. So, quite the fall from grace indeed, as you can tell here by looking at the year chart for this. Over the past year, I mean, this thing had a peak of $34.50 back on April 1st of last year, And right now it's all the way down to 35 cents. And they did a split back in June of last year. They did a 1 for 30. So it's been nothing but a landslide. And Ethan, how about a round of applause for the shorts? Because they won real big on this one. Nikola, adios. Nice knowing you.
Good job.
Yes.
Martin
Congratulations,
Shkreli.
shorts.
He's making some dosh, baby.
Congratulations. I know there's some diamond handed perma bear out there that had this thing all the way back at 34, $32, and they just rode this puppy all the way down. So that is it for Nikola. And it's so weird when these stocks, I've seen it a few times when they declare bankruptcy. So this news came out I think yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday, and it went up like 45% in a day. It went from like 57 cents to 87 cents. So for all my degens out there that traded this yesterday, congratulations if you made a little something on it, but then it proceeded to tank all the way back down. So yeah, this thing's on its way out.
So they
Um,
declared bankruptcy and they had a bump.
Yeah, so this is if you look in the top right hand corner for those on YouTube, this was actually on the 18th. I was mistaken. Yeah, so Tuesday was when the news came out. And so, yeah, it went up like 45% here, as you can tell. And then it proceeded to dump, and it's just continuing to dump. Surprise, surprise. So, not really sure what the rules are or what happens now. I suppose they're going to prioritize. I would assume loans first, and there's probably not going to be anything left for anyone still holding it. But I mean, I don't know that for sure. But it's kind of crazy because I remember keeping an eye on this thing a year ago, and there was a bunch of hot news about their EV trucks, and um,
Yeah.
there was a lot of news
They
pumping
were
it.
hydrogen powered
Yeah,
trucking.
hydrogen powered, and I mean, this is just it's pretty staggering to me because the fact that at one point in time they were valued more than Ford Motor. I mean, think about how long Ford has been around. I mean, that's impressive. So to go from that to Chapter 11 bankruptcy, it's just a sobering reminder for everyone in the market. Um, Stocks don't hang around forever. I mean, some of them seem like they do. Exxon Mobil, I don't, but like Apple, Amazon, some of these stocks that have been around for a long, long time. Yeah, some of them do, but just when you think something is going to be here for the long haul, you look a year later and it's done. So, um, yeah, this is why it's important to have exit plans. This is why
Yeah.
it's important to do your due diligence if you're a long term investor, because I guarantee you, Warren Buffett was not in this. And if you have the wherewithal to analyze a balance sheet and P and L, I guess you would have seen this coming. I don't look at it from a fundamental standpoint. I just look at it from a chart standpoint, technical analysis, trading opportunities persist. But yes, definitely from a fundamental standpoint, this thing has been showing red flags for quite some time. So,
I think the biggest red flag and one that uh, is like a little tool that you can put in your tool belt is to be wary of companies that use SPACs or a
yes,
SPAC. I don't know if you is SPACs plural, SPAC,
spec.
but to use a SPAC because these instruments, I guess you could call it an instrument. Let's see, what would you call it specifically? But a SPAC is a special purpose acquisition company, and they fly under the radar of a lot more of the I guess rigorous um, regulations that you need in order to IPO your company. It's kind of like a shortcut. I don't know what the exact breakdown is. We can ask our buddy GPT what is
Yeah.
the difference.
So yeah,
between a
SPACs
SPAC and
are,
you know right off the bat, don't you?
well, no, I just looked it up. SPACs are, they're shell companies that list on exchanges, and then they have
Right.
up to 2 years to acquire a business or businesses, which then become public companies. And I actually saw a news report the other day that said they're like making a comeback. So something to keep an eye on, I guess.
Yeah. So it's a faster time to market. So that's probably why they're so attractive is because, you got to be making that dough quick.
Quick, and they
Can't
do
be
a lot
waiting
of
a long
things,
while. Yeah.
right? And they do a lot of things to make them attractive, right? To bring buyers in. So that can be like news headlines because I mean they only have 2 years, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's unfortunate for Nikola, but kind of shortens up the EV space at least one spot.
Maybe that's why Ford bumped a little bit the past like week. It's
That could
because,
be.
yeah,
That could
because
be.
investors realized, oh, shoot, we've got a limited number of potential EV folks to buy into,
Well, and I'm
including
curious,
or
how does this
Rivian.
impact General Motors, who inked a
Yeah.
multi-billion-dollar deal with them?
I didn't realize.
What's the fallout for that? So
Yeah.
so that is the negative EV news. If you want, I can move into some positive EV news.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it. So, how about another EV company that is doing a little bit better?
Is it Rivian? Is it Rivian?
It is, in fact,
Oh,
Rivian. Yes, Rivian. According to CNBC, Rivian beat Wall Street's fourth quarter earnings expectations and achieved its first gross quarterly profit, a target closely watched by investors. But it is forecasting lower sales in 2025. I don't really think they're going to be forecasting lower sales. I almost feel like that's their way of like, what's the saying? It's like you set the bar low, and then you
yeah.
overachieve. Um,
Underachieve, under
yeah,
promise,
there it
over
is.
deliver.
There
Yeah.
it is. But that is
I mean, the
that is
biggest
quite,
under promise
yes.
is
Thank you.
I was just gonna say that the biggest under promise is the fact that it looks like a cartoon version of a Bronco. I
It
don't like it.
does. It does. Those headlights look they look interesting. It's like some off a Lego. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think it's very impressive, achieving its first gross quarterly profit, a target closely watched by investors. That's good. For 2025, Rivian also expects to narrow its adjusted losses to a range of 1.7 billion. Yes, yes, for Rivian, hand clap, well deserved. Uh, so 1.7 to 1.9 billion, down from a loss of 2.69 billion in 2024. That's pretty significant. And then lastly, Rivian's quarterly gross profit and revenue, as expected, were assisted by 299 million in the sale of regulatory credits, as well as 214 million in software and services. So that's Rivian. And just as a quick reference, we can pull up the
They're
Rivian
not
chart.
actually selling any cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't, I mean, credits is basically what we're getting there. I don't know, 299 million, and they cut their losses down by a billion. So I guess, yeah, that did account for what, 10, 15% of that, something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if you look at the annual chart for Rivian over the past year, there isn't really a trend happening here, as you can tell. Back in April, we saw a low of $8. We saw all, or not an all-time high. We saw a 52-week high right around $18, almost $19 in July. And as of today, we are trading at $13.61 as of the close, but we are above the 200-day moving average. So we'll see what we do with this news. Earnings can be kind of like the Wild West as far as trading goes. You can see good earnings reports and stocks tank, but for a long-term outlook, it does seem like it's moving in the right direction. Any thoughts on Rivian, Ethan?
My only thought is just based off of what we just saw. Where okay, so they had some profit taking, but it was profit that was based off of regulatory credits and then software. So some third party, or not third party, but maybe some second tier like profit making. So not actually making any profit from sales of vehicles. So that's, I don't
Yeah.
know. I
I
mean,
don't
if you own a lemonade stand and the only thing that you're selling is like packets of sugar, are you going to be around long enough to sell lemonade, or are you just going to have to transition?
yeah.
Maybe they're, I mean, maybe they're in the space because there's like federal funding that's being given out the wazoo for EV manufacturers. Um, I'm not sure. We'll have to look into USAID for that.
Yeah, we might have to check that out. Here's something interesting. I just pulled up the options chart for Rivian about a year out. What would be called, leap contracts. Leap contracts typically refer to anything that's like a year or more. So definitely not for our degens out there looking for 0 days to expiration. But looking at about a year out, look at this open interest on the put side for the $5 strikes, 127,449. That is a lot. So um, there are some people who have a
Is that
longer
million?
term. So I don't believe so. I think what you would have to do to get the exact dollar amount on that is well, the contract prices are constantly changing. But if you wanted to get an accurate depiction right now, you would just take whatever the prices of it. So the bid ask on it is 28 cents and 33 cents. So if you split that, it'd be like $30. So $30 times
Mm,
127 449, and that'd be the full dollar amount that's like open interest right now on the $5 strike.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So um yeah, because I mean, if you just look at today alone, it looks like we had total volume. So these are the number of contracts, 254,000 roughly on the call side and 170,000 on the put side, for a total just under 500,000 contracts that were, exchanged for Rivian.
Yeah.
So that is the EV update as of now. I guess we'll
The
see what
EV update.
Rivian can continue to do as we move forward.
The EV update.
I like it. It's on brand.
On
Ro-
brand.
robotic.
I have to say, speaking of modulation, Michael Wilcox, our senior correspondent out in Twin Cities, he's quiet this week. He has not messaged me. He has not sent me a carrier pigeon or anything.
I haven't
So
heard
we're
from
going
him
to
at
be
all. Not a
T's and P's,
fax.
thoughts and prayers out for him.
Yeah, hopefully we'll hear back from him on Sunday's episode. I hope he's doing all right. I'm sure it's pretty cold in the Twin Cities this time of the year, so I hope he's staying warm. Yeah.
But let's see. You want to hop over to the NVIDIA GPT?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So what I wanted to do was just kind of walk you through how you could use a tool like ChatGPT in order to do some analysis. So it goes without saying that this is all for educational purposes. Nothing that we talk about is an investment advice. Blah blah blah. I don't know if it's. I don't even know if we're like on the radar to be to need to like
We'll
make that
pretend.
disclaimer.
We can
But
hope.
I assume it's probably like kind of like a
Best practice.
best practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's check out Robinhood Legend. Whether or not you like Robinhood or support it, that's not the point right now.
They have a sweet UI. That
They have a
is
sweet UI, and that's
not
all that matters.
debatable.
So I know earlier on Sunday we said NVIDIA, they suck. Don't get close to them. But I thought, hey, what are some plays that we could do with NVIDIA? And so looking at this chart here, uh, the most important indicators between the two of us that you could probably check out is RSI, the relative strength index, and then the MACD. I don't know what MACD stands for. They used to call me MAC-E back in the day. But
Moving average convergence divergence.
that's exactly it. So if you're like dumb, or not dumb, but the only thing that you can really need to pay attention
Dumb.
to is blue line go up, blue line go down. If blue line above orange line, and it might depend on whatever platform you're on, but if blue line above orange line, that's good, at least if you're into calls. If blue line below orange line, that's good if you're into puts. But it's just an indicator that is predicting further volume that pushes the price up, right? Would that be a good general description of it?
Yeah, I was actually looking at this earlier because I know we were debating on whether or not we were going to get into the meat and potatoes of certain indicators. But the moving average, convergence, divergence, it's a technical indicator. It helps investors analyze price trends. Um, Most people would classify it as the kind of indicator that will tell you momentum, right? When momentum is changing, what direction it's going. Um, and yeah, that's the best way to put it. It's a momentum indicator. Yeah.
Blue line good, orange line bad.
All I can think of when you say that is like the Office episode where Michael's like, explain it to me like I'm five, you know?
That's it.
That's
But
it.
so let's see.
And so
Let's
just to
share.
give some context, the red and the green bars, right? That's just showing you
That's
the difference, the difference in space between the two lines, right? It's showing you how strong that movement actually is, whether it's red to the downside or green to the upside. It's showing the difference in the spacing there. So
right.
not to be confused with the volume bars right above it.
And oh, I see. You're talking about the MACD. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
sorry. Yes, I'm referring to the green and red bars on the MACD itself. Yeah,
Hmm. And I like hollow candles.
I like it.
I
I like it.
I don't know why. And let's go to the most important thing is because we like to um, offset our brain onto ChatGPT because we don't want to actually think about things. We just want chatty boy or girl to tell us, what to do. So this was a cool feature. I'm not sure. Well, I know for a fact that you can't do this on just the free tier. You have to be a paying member of the GPTs. Don't be rude. Yeah, that was rude. I apologize. Um, so I said, would NVIDIA be a good play based on these numbers? I could have been more specific. We don't really need to get too much into prompt engineering, but I should have been more specific with like the Greeks and whatnot, and asking about delta, gamma, theta, and vega. But all I did was give it a screenshot of an option call or a call option for the 21st at $143 just to see what it said. It gave us some key metrics. It read everything well, and gave a breakdown of why it might be a good option. It was explaining, strong uptrend. The delta was above 50. And I really appreciated this because it said a delta of 0.5273 means the option moves 53 cents for every $1 that NVIDIA moves in the stock price. And then cons, it explained the time decay that's present in theta. So since the option expires in 3 days, each day could significantly erode the premium that you might actually bring back if you were to sell that contract or close on that contract. Um, And then IV might be too high. So was it a good play for a short term trade? Yeah, if it continued its uptrend. But um, I explained, it closed at 139. So I asked for some technical analysis as well as some fundamentals. Gave me some fun stuff to look through, and specifically our RSI and the MACD confirmation. So it was kind of explaining if the MACD crossed above the signal line, it was a bullish trend confirmation. So we kind of saw that where the blue line good was crossing above, and that was a good thing. We liked that. That's fun. So it gave us some key support and resistance levels of $140, and then resistance for 145 to 150, and then some breakout potential. And I continued to just give screenshots of NVIDIA to GPT, and it kept telling me just kind of what was happening, and it kept updating my trade plan, and giving me like a pretty cool like entry, price target, stop loss, things like that. And so um, I
I'm just thinking about how awesome of a time it is to like in the day and age that we live in with technology. I
yeah
can't tell you how many like podcasts I've listened to with like older traders, and they're like, I used to print out charts and I was up all night using a
yeah
pencil drawing indicators on charts. Like,
reading the tape.
how long did that take you?
No time at all. I
No
mean,
time. No time.
it took me all day because I was just watching the chart and feeding the screenshots. But I mean, no time of thinking because it told
No.
me buy above $141.20 would be an ideal entry. So I just set a target of 141. It never touched it. It just traded sideways the rest of the day.
So you didn't
Uh,
touch it.
no,
You didn't get into it. Okay.
no, didn't get into it just because it never rose above that. So there would have been no point. And I would have just ended up,
Chopping.
losing
Theta.
time to, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's all I wanted to share was just that GPT, Gemini, um, I'm not really sure how strong Gemini is for reasoning, but you don't even really need any of those. I mean, you could uh, go the open source route and download DeepSeek using Olama, um, which Olama is just like a platform to like essentially host a LLM locally, and it would be slower. But you could feed it the details of what's happening moment by moment, and DeepSeek or whatever model you're using could think about it and give you some ideas. And ultimately, you just want to use it for ideas, right? You don't want to completely depend on it. You want to actually initiate your trades and whatnot based on what you feel like you're comfortable doing. But it can do a hefty amount of research for you. And so had I like been what's the word? If I just had an itchy trigger finger and just wanted like, oh, I just want an option on the book. I just want something on the books right now. I would have to explain to my wife tomorrow why I lost like a couple bucks.
Yeah.
So
Not a conversation any of us want to have.
yeah. But that's just an example of how you can use ChatGPT to do a little bit of uh, uh, trading analysis. And
That's
something that's
interesting.
important is that you give it a prompt. And so I gave it a prompt at the beginning where I, explicitly told it to give me these things, as far as a portfolio, prioritize small position sizes, focus on scalable setups. I told it explicitly to utilize RSI, MACD, and VWAP for momentum confirmation. use price action, support resistance, and trend analysis as the foundation for entries and exits. And then scanning for fundamental analysis. Scan for I tell it to look in Twitter for high volatility news catalysts, and then to look at like short interest for potential squeeze plays. So
That's
there's
impressive.
tons of like cool things that you can like bake into the instructions for it to be able to. Can you prompt it with "Make sure I don't get in trouble with my wife"? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Now, if it can do
um,
that, I'm on board.
yeah, yeah. But just a small example, like we are living, like you said, like we're living in a day and age where it's foolish to not take advantage of some of these things when they're like
Yeah.
right here present. And you don't have to take the ticker tape home, and you don't have to read it line by line. But
And I think some important to note there too is that, we have had some AI specific like ETF exchange
yeah,
traded funds that have come out onto the market, right? Where they're completely AI, right? And just as an example, they haven't all done great. They haven't all, just smashed the market. And I think part of the reason for that is because the market is a collection of human psychology. The market is a collection of people selling and buying constantly millions and millions of contracts and shares every minute of the day. Well, not every minute, but 9:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern, right? Um, and when you have that many people involved, you can't obviously predict everything that's going to happen. You can kind of get where human psychology is going to come into play, where bad news comes in and the market
yeah,
tanks, people get scared. But the point is very simply that AI can only go so far. And so I think that's part of the reason why you were saying, Ethan, that like, it shouldn't be your everything, but obviously it's technology we have available to us. And if you have a good plan, like there's no reason you can't use something like this to, put together good
yeah.
trading.
And it's such a new sector.
Yes.
It's a very new sector.
It's only going to get better.
It's, yeah, yeah,
That's really cool. I'd be curious to see, maybe we can do this next episode. I'd be curious to see what AI thinks of, because I've been entertaining this lately, the VIX. We talked about this before. The VIX reading, it's a measure of the volatility in the market. When it's super high, there's a lot of fear and things are tanking. When it's low, there's a lot of just steady grind up. And the VIX is getting awfully close to a low right now. It's currently at 1566. And basically, if it goes up, that means the market's going down. And if you want to bet on VIX going up, you would buy calls. So
hmm
I'm kind of entertaining buying some calls on VIX, maybe longer dated calls for 6-8 months out, because I feel like we're going to get a market correction here in the next 6 to 8 months. I could be wrong; it could be longer, but it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, right? So
yeah. Not in Trump's economy, baby.
we'll see. I heard talks the other day about potential rate hikes coming if inflation keeps going up. So that's a topic for another day. But that would be the
Yeah,
polar opposite of what everyone's anticipating, which is more rate cuts, and obviously what Trump wants. So if Daddy Powell decides to not entertain that and sees reason to do the opposite and raise rates, boy, could that be a bloodbath in the market.
yeah,
So not to put some fear into it at the end of the show, but just some things to think about. All right, what else we got, Ethan? Is that it?
I think that's everything. That's everything I had. Yeah,
All right, great. Well, yeah, I think that's about all I got too. We do have consumer sentiment coming out tomorrow, 10 a.m. Definitely something to pay attention to. The markets overall today were a little bit red, So that consumer sentiment report at 10 a.m. Eastern will definitely play a factor. We'll see what happens there. Other than that, I think that's about it. We will be back on Sunday. Yes, round of applause. No, that was good. That was good. Bring
Miss
it back. Uh, we will be back on Sunday. As always, please like and subscribe. Tell a friend. And yeah, whether you're a
leave a
DGen or
comment.
a conservative investor, as always, plan the trade and trade the plan.
Great the plan.